everyone. Woo-hoo! It's Shanda and Alex Arriaga here with 6 a.m. early 6 a.m. coffee with Shanda. And Alex is drinking High Burst, right?
I'm having my High Burst Chino, and it's in a glass cup because I learned from Ash, your husband. He's an amazing man, and that we want to protect the environment, so we keep it in glass.
That's right. We were actually at a restaurant yesterday, and they gave him a plastic cup, and he refused it. He said, I can't do it. So anyway, you guys, good morning, good morning, good morning. Just some fun facts from Alex and I. Alex is a great friend of mine. I asked him to be on 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda for a couple different reasons. He owns a real estate fund. He also has been training for big institutions like Rich Dad Poor Dad for a long period of time and really mentoring like adults, kids, of all sizes, how to actually invest in real estate. He's someone I very much trust. He's someone that has become a very dear friend of mine. I don't know how many years I met you. Was it like 13, 12?
2004. That's been
2004? Really?
Yeah, 4 or 5, yes.
That's amazing. So so when I hired you, I think you were at Russ Whitney. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. And so so I remember being in a position in my life where I really had no money, like I really had no money. And I actually contribute working with you as a moment that my confidence got reinstalled in myself. Like I just remember going to Starbucks and being in Starbucks coffee shops, which I heard you and your beautiful fiance were laughing about when you were in Vegas the other day, that I used to always go to Starbucks. But I remember sitting in Starbucks knowing that I had a bigger calling, but couldn't figure out how to get my ass in gear. I couldn't figure out how to gain my confidence because everything I did kept failing and failing and failing. And I remember saying to you, I was like, God, I want to figure out how to real estate invest so I can buy property and buy land and then develop. And I had all these big dreams because someday I wanted to open a coaching company, which is what I own today. And I wanted to buy land, put a boutique building on it and hotel on it and create something like the Omega Institute versus, transformation. So it's awesome to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we're getting positioned for, well, first of all, let me actually just put up so everybody knows how to find you. SimplePathToInvesting.com is how you actually find Alex if you want to find Alex, which you're probably going to want to find Alex after we get through this talk. So right now, the marketplace, everybody, Warren Buffett, everybody is talking about the fact that we are in for our biggest crash yet. And if you're a smart individual, even if you're like, shit, I have no money right now, if you're a smart individual, you'll look up and start thinking about how to position yourself. Like I'm starting to, and have been for the last year, how do I position myself when the market crashes, right? And I happen to be someone who bought a house now and I'm building a house now, which we probably purchased it more at the peak. But I'm not worried about that. So you guys who are buying real estate right now, I'm not worried about that. But I'm going to set up myself to be in a position to pick up as the market crashes because that's where extraordinary wealth happens. It's also where you get that launching pad to really get ahead in life. So, so Alex.
Yeah, absolutely. What you just said is so true. A lot of people fear market crashes. But the thing about market crashes is that it's a massive transfer of wealth. It's just what happens. Like wealth doesn't disappear. It just transfers into other hands. So I'm actually glad you're speaking into because as we're heading into a correction of the market, it's like what side of the table are you going to be on? Are you going to be on the giving side or are you going to be on the receiving side of that wealth? So it's interesting how people talk about it in a fear position, but in fact, it's just a strategy position of what are you able to create by the time the correction happens. And it's actually one of the things that I hear you said, which is very beautiful. I like when you talked about and when we met that you had a vision for what you want to create, specifically when it was about financial freedom. Yeah. That was something that I noticed about you, that you were so determined to create financial freedom, to pursue what it was your happiness, which is beautiful to see, which is what you're doing right now.
It is. Well, let's talk. Yes, it can be a launching pad because real estate was not my although I love the deals, it wasn't the thing. I wasn't like you. Like, you love real estate. Like, you live for it. You love it. You know so many deals, how to do deals. I mean, it's crazy the stuff you know that people have no idea. Like, the regular Joe Blow who grows up and says, I know I need to own a house to be able to, you know, grow my wealth. You think about real estate in a very different way. So you've been helping kids, you've been helping adults, you've been training this for a long time. What if you've got somebody watching right now that says, you know, Alex, you know, cash flow is my problem. Like, I don't have the 200, the 300, the $600,000 to put down on a property to even get a loan to get into the game of real estate. What would you say to them?
Well, the first thing I would say is, like, let's define and qualify what you want to have as your lifestyle matched to your investment portfolio. And it's just like thinking of this. If you think of a scale from 1 to 10, and from 1 to 5 being passive, and from 5 to 10 being active, I want you to think about, okay, what do I want to be? I want to be on the active side, or I want to be on the passive side? Because starting to know what you want to be, it tells me, okay, what is your passion? And is that aligned with what you want to create for your life in terms of time? It's not about how many Ferraris you want.
Can I ask you a question then? So does active mean like you're in there flipping homes and you want to make it a lifestyle? Does passive mean like you want passive income? Is that right?
Yes. If you want to be like flipping homes, being on site, like working with contractors, you are one of those that want controller, active. I want to be in it. I want to know everything about it, but I want to live it as well. That will be active. And it's asking yourself, is that going to match what I want to create in my vision of life, which is I want to travel the world, I want to spend time with the loved ones. And you might have a maybe not congruent conversation at that time. And then we have to look at, okay, what if I become a passive investor? Which I got to say this, because a lot of people believe that rental real estate is passive investment. And my friends, I got not such a great news if that's what you believe, because it's only passive real estate if you are the IRS. The IRS considers that a passive investment, and that is just a way to tax your money. But there's still an involvement activity as you, I mean, for those of you guys who are watching, if you have ever owned a rental and you have a challenged tenant, well, you know what I'm talking about. So yeah. It's going back, yes, Shanda, it's going back to, okay, if I want to be active, I want to be passive, and I want to be passive, then could I be passive also in an active investment? That means, are you the one providing the money? Are you the one raising the capital? Are you the one structuring the deal? I mean, there is a place for you to be. Yes,
you're talking about there's all these different places that you can be in the deal in real estate. So, for instance, okay, so you've got an 18-year-old or 19-year-old.
Yes, I have an 18-year-old mentee. Yes.
Mentee. So, and he's driven. He's like a driven young man. And so you got him into real estate. And so tell us a little bit about how he came to you and what you taught him to do, because I think that's an eye-opening moment for a lot of people.
Yes, you know, Abraham is a very, very determined guy. He really is determined to create a passive income and wealth in his life. And it's incredible to see how an 18-year-old can do it. Well, first, 18-year-olds have a challenge having some sort of credit and ability to walk into an institution and say, hey, give me some money. So there were very few things that we talk about at first, like what is what you want to create? You want to be active, you want to be passive. So he wanted to be active first, but then turn it into a passive. So active, with the challenges that we have, it's like, well, Alex, you know, I have some sort of credit, maybe that's what I think I have. And when it comes to capital, it might not be I can walk into a bank. So it's like, okay, well, let's create an ability for you to fulfill value within investors, buyers, and sellers, which creates an ability for you to create some capital. And that's
okay. So what'd you do?
Pardon?
What'd you do with them?
So with them was basically, okay, if you position yourself in a place to help sellers that do have a pressure to sell a property, which it can happen. Divorce happens every day. Foreclosures happen every day. Like death happens every day. But you're there to support them in a way that you have the knowledge in order to provide for them something that will be positive for them at a good price. Then you'll have an opportunity to take control of that property in the form of a contract and be able to sell it to an investor that is a cash buyer, that is ready to actually go buy, fix, and sell. They're so busy buying, fixing, and selling homes. They don't even have the time in order to look for properties. So you're fulfilling that value. For that value, there's a compensation. So he was able to do that.
Okay, so let me break this down so people understand this. So that's a wholesale deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
Alex taught me this. This is how I actually started to get into the game of cash flow with real estate. So, and by the way, I learned real estate from Alex, and then I went and I sold to investors. And I made an obscene amount of money selling to investors. So literally what he taught this 18-year-old boy to do is to put himself in a position where he knew how to locate property with distressed sellers. So somebody going through a divorce, somebody who's passed away and the family has the real estate. These deals are happening in good markets and bad markets. You can understand that. Like somebody doesn't get a divorce in just a bad market. They get divorces in good markets too, and they just want to get out from underneath the house. Foreclosures. These situations are happening all year long. And so what investors have an advantage of is they don't look at real estate and go, oh, is the market just high or low? It's a piece that they look at, but they look at who do I want to be in the marketplace? So this 18-year-old wanted to be active. So we taught him how to go find these deals. Then because the young man does not have a bunch of money to be able to go get a loan and be able to attain good credit at that point at 18 years old, he taught him how to use a contract, a simple piece of paper, and he taught him how to tie up the property that was distressed from the owner and then sell that piece of paper to investors, which means he had to teach him how to find the investors. So how long did that whole teaching go? Like how long did it take you to teach him that?
It took me about 92 hours, but we were determined to be together. And so, yeah, it was intensive because he's an intense guy. But yeah, it didn't take too long. And then it's actually put into practice. But what was great was not only after he learned how to do it, it's basically follow up with him, because there's going to be times that you're going to have some questions that are going to be thrown at you or situations that you don't know what to do. I'm not able to explain all that in 92 hours. Yeah. But yeah, it didn't take too long in order to explain that to him.
Well, you taught it to me in 2 days, 2 days or 3 days. I can't remember how long we were together. It was 2 or 3 days you taught it to me, and I did it. And I remember, I actually, this is when you worked for Rich Dad Poor, or not Rich Dad Poor Dad, when you worked for Russ Whitney, and you trained all around the world. And by the way, he still does this. I invested $21,000 with the Russ Whitney organization. And I remember being so broke I wasn't paying my mortgage. And I just knew, like, when I watched that deal happen on the overhead, I was like, oh my God, that's easy. And there was nothing in that required me to have money or credit or even know what the heck I was doing at first. And it was easy to find the investors, the houses. In fact, I had so many houses coming to me. I remember literally my phone was blowing up off the charts daily, weekly, because I would have like 15, 20 distressed buyers phoning me inside of a couple days, and I could cherry pick what deal I wanted to do. So, okay, so for people who have the mentality about, actually, where do I want to go? There's so many places I want to go with you right now. You're helping teenagers right now flip homes.
Yes.
Got a new TV show coming out.
Yeah. Go ahead.
That's a little bit more involved because are they buying the property and then are they fixing it out? Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's a little more involved. It's actually like a passion that I developed after having my first daughter. It's like, okay, what is the contribution that I'm going to leave to the world? And it's like, okay, what if I start teaching some kids how to do it? And what I noticed about it is like they're receptive, they listen. But some of the challenges, yes, they're not 18-year-olds. They can sign contracts. What is it that we do with the parents? How do we put them in a structure where the kids are the beneficiary and the dad's, it's a trustee where they get to sign, but it's basically the kids that are actually the owners of the property. But this one step further is now teaching the kids, if they're going to flip the houses, how to present to investors, how to raise the capital, which the three girls were able to do it. They're 15, 14, and 12. It's Madeline, Isabel, and Brianna. And I was like, okay, let's just forget about the lemonade stand. I know it's cool. We'll drink lemonade later, and we're going to go and flip a house. And it's been an amazing journey, support of the parents. But it's like, what is beautiful about the kids is like they haven't built any proof, any evidence that they cannot make things happen yet. Adults, a lot of in the adult world, they have. So it's so easy to work with them in a way that they listened and they say, okay, let's do it. And then along the way, they're like, okay, I have questions. Now, there are challenges, obviously, for those of you thinking, okay, my God, you know, what are you talking about 15, 16, 15, 14, and 12-year-old like buying a house? Well, the challenges are challenges that are just technical challenges. They're not challenges that the kids cannot talk. They cannot create a vision. But yeah, up to this point, we started about 4 months ago. We're able to identify a property. With the help, I help them segment the market, which means that they know what specific area in the market will be convenient for them to buy in order to get in, fix, and get out without having a lot of risk involved. But at the same time, I taught them how to like learn how to enroll people into their vision, which is basically bringing a contractor, which is Derek, bringing a real estate agent is going to support them, presenting to investors when they're ready to place capital, which is a step further up from saying, okay, I'm just going to sign a contract and get compensated for that. This is actually a place to start for them to say, okay, what is possible for them, you know, when they graduate high school, which I think is going to be super, super cool. And my first goal is like, I want you to have enough money to do whatever you want to do. If it's a college fund, it's a college fund. If you want to travel the world, travel the world. But I want you to experience entrepreneurship because I believe that is the best thing that we can leave for our next generation. Is just show them how to like fish, not just fish for that.
Yeah, well, not even just that. With the entire middle class being wiped out of our economy over the next 8 years, you just have to stop and realize entrepreneurship is something that people are going to be forced into at some point, or something's going to happen. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I just don't know what they're going to do. So that's
absolutely,
it's powerful that you're teaching this, you know.
Yeah, with a lot of changes in the economy, like yes, like you said, you know, there's cycles, there's crashes, it's gonna come, there's adjustments. And there's one thing I want to tell everybody that I mean, it's gonna be impactful, but I just want to let you know that debt, it is modern slavery. And if you don't understand investments and you don't understand how to manage debt, like literally you're being part of a slavery system. I mean, the more you take on debt, if you don't know what type of debt, if it's consumer, if investor debt, if you don't have a balance with it, I mean, you basically waking up making some money to pay some debts. And I want to change the message, and I want to change the financial like acumen of people so they can actually live a freedom life.
Yeah, no, hey, I'm standing shoulder to shoulder with you on that for sure. What's your favorite real estate deal?
My favorite real estate deals are being the bank, which is basically providing capital to all the real estate investors that are either going and changing neighborhoods. But the reason why is because it puts you in a position of I'm able to create, but I'm also able to take the least amount of risk possible, and constant gives you cash flow, which you can go travel the world. And you know, Shanda, you know, we talk all the time about, okay, where's the next place we're gonna go? We're gonna take our family.
I found it actually. I'm calling you later because we're going to the Maldives. Christine and Steve want to come too, so we're going to the Maldives.
That's awesome. That's where I want to go. But it's like, you know, if you pursue your passion of life and you have a support system, an investment portfolio that is constantly giving you a cash flow with reduced risk, and later on, I'll talk about compounding. I'll talk about that later because I know it's a 20-minute conversation.
We're almost done. So, but you guys can actually go to simplepath2investing.com, and Alex is actually, sorry to interrupt you, Alex, but when you said 20 minutes, we are close to that. Alex, if you guys are coming to the Zone event, the day after the Zone event in the same room that I'm doing the Zone event in, September 25, 26, 27, on the 28th, the day after Zone event's over, Alex in the morning, is it 9 a.m. or 10 a.m.?
9 a.m.
At 9 a.m., Alex is going to do a 2-hour real estate class, completely free, just pro bono. He's actually going to be at the event, so he decided to just do the class right after the event. So I know a lot of our clients are going to learn what I learned, but if you're coming to the Zone event or you just want to go to Palm Springs, you can actually see on that simplepathtoinvesting.com how to actually just grab a ticket. It's totally free. It's just, he's just doing it. But going back to the real estate game for a second, and we'll close on this. I love being the bank as well. I'm a huge fan of being the bank. I haven't done it in the real estate world, but the fact that you've been in real estate when the market's been high, when the market's been low, I mean, you've ridden this wave all over the place. What would you say that people have to most pay attention to as the market's about to crash? Like, how do they best position themselves?
What I wanted to pay attention to is the availability of liquidity in the market. The more liquidity is thrown into the market, the more of a correction is going to happen soon. And the reason is we're human beings. We are human beings. If you give someone money to invest, most of the people are going to invest just because they have this, oh, this is cool. It's on TV, and they don't have any knowledge or basis of how to do it. They're just going to do it because they think it's cool, and there's a lot of liquidity in the market, and that's actually going to fuel prices going up in a way that are just basically not in the path of like, this is a normal increase in price. And that's what fuels corrections in the market. It's like when, and I'm just gonna give you the last thing. It's like, if it's on the newspaper and it tells you it is the best investment in the world and it's all over CNN, that is the time to sell and reposition your way of investment from a safer place, because you're about to experience a correction.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. When you look at real estate, goes up about 5% a year from what Ash tells me over the long period of time, right? Like, is that right? Over a long period of time. And right. So, you know, I think there's an important game of not getting attached to your real estate. And I also think you have to break your mom's mindset on real estate, which is, I think, now you might have a different thing on this, but I don't love the idea of buying one house for the rest of my life and holding on to it forever because it's only a 5% appreciation over a long period of time. I like the idea of buying when it's low, selling when it's high. Don't worry about paying the taxes, or, you know, 1031 the money into another property and defer the taxes. So there's a lot of really cool things that you can do in real estate. I'm getting into the game of buying commercial buildings. I'm waiting for the market to crash, even though the truth is I could buy now, even though the market is going to crash, because you can still buy right in a high market. Mm-hmm. But when you have people like Alex on your side, it's about building your team. Right? It's about building your team of smart people. The problem is we often listen to our moms or our dads who are playing a different conservative game than you're trying to play, or you're listening to real estate agents that are in the business of collecting commissions. And I think at the end of the day, and by the way, I used to be a real estate agent, so I'm not poo-pooing on it. I'm just saying that you got to surround yourself around people who really get the game of wealth if you want to play that game in your lifestyle. And so stop taking advice from your friend that's making the same amount of money than you or just a little bit more. Start taking advice from people that are crushing it in the area that you want to crush it. And so I'm going to end on that piece. Alex, do you want any last words that you want to share with people?
I just want everybody to know that follow and pursue the passion you love, and let a real estate or related real estate portfolio just to carry through and bring you the cash flows. And guys, pay it forward. I mean, just pay it forward, leave something for our next generation. If you can teach a kid anything that has to do about entrepreneurship, do it with a lot of love. Give him hugs and kisses.
I love that. I love that. Awesome, you guys. So if you want to connect with Alex, you can, well, Alex, if you can go in the thread afterwards and just say hi to people and answer some questions, because if you guys have a real estate question, feel free to ask it on the thread. He can answer. And if you want to go to his free event in Palm Springs on September 28th, you can go there by the simplepathtoinvesting.com. All right, you guys. Alex, thanks so much. I really appreciate you. And I'm so excited that I've been able to bring this all the way around and now showcase you to our world. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me, Shanda. You're amazing.
Awesome.
Bye.